Hey guys, welcome back. So I was just going around, and we're gonna go and do the next part of Ice today, and that means we're going to have to leave this kingdom here, and we're gonna have to go on and deal with the other stuff. I'm sorry. Did I just say leave this kingdom? I mean come to this kingdom. Oh boy, I've kind of messed up. I was doing some grinding, and I totally forgot that we had solved the gold problem. And so, if you talk to the king now, he says that you're lying, but when you come down and fall into this dungeon, guess who's here? Prince Kamea. Prince Kamea is here, and if you talk to him, where's the exit? We'll starve down here if we don't find a way out soon. And over here, saved at last. The two of us were trapped alone. I'm the real king. The one on the throne is a vile impostor. I was abducted in my sleep and held captive down here. I tried to escape, but the exit has been sealed. It was closed up recently, and have no idea where to find it. So basically what you can do if you were a small kid is you would go around and knock on the walls. If it's heavy and sounds solid, that this reaction will be prompted. And you can force Kamea to run into a wall. Definitely one of my favorite parts of this game right here is making Kamea run into walls a lot. However, the wall you really want to knock on is this portion right here. And Kamea, being the truck that he is able to not only run into walls, but still shatter bricks. Amazing. How does he need monsters? Anyways, moving along. So now the two kings are fighting. And what you have to do is talk to both of them until one of them says Kiki, and then you will find that the fake king is actually an ag devil. Now, in this boss battle, I guess it's kind of a boss battle, what you want to do here is really make sure that you're not going to die really quickly. And Lushlix is a great... Sorry about that. Somebody decided to text me. Didn't turn off my phone. And you really want to go and deal with him. Now, he has a couple skills. The first one that's kind of deadly is the sleep air. If all your guys get put to sleep, it can really cause a lot of problems. And this is where the attack Lushlix is really coming in. It's a good skill. It's not going to be useful later on in the game. It's just a really good stop to a lot of attacks and single boss battles. Unfortunately, Ag Devil isn't going to be hit as badly by this attack. So don't plan on using it all too much. It's not gonna do all that much. And don't bother using any ribs or anything on this boss battle. It's not gonna do anything. It's a boss battle, he's not gonna take it. Now what you can do here is, for my skills that I have here, I have a couple things, but nothing really too good. But since Hide isn't doing too much damage, I figure I might as well just try and go for the spells that he has on him. And he has Ice Storm, and that's going to be a relatively decent attack. And as you can see, it did 100 damage just on that one alone. So spells really do a lot of damage, and it's really nice to have them, especially if your monsters don't have all that great stats. This is where skills really come into play in breeding and getting particular skills. And I was actually able to beat him pretty easily, which is really nice. And Anvar gets up to level 16. So, with the king, with the new king, well, the old king, technically, I guess. I'm not really sure how that would work. Since the old king is now back, the border to the mines is now open, so now you can progress through the level. And I'm just going to heal up here really quickly. As you can see, I did switch out the third party member to a proto-mech. And this guy is okay. He gets a lot of slashes and charge up, really. But he also, the most important thing is that he had the heal skill. And the heal skill becomes heal... When it becomes heal more, Heal more is just basically, if you're playing the new games, it's the mid heal or me heal. In the new Dragon Warrior games and the Dragon Monsters games, that's what it is. I don't know why they changed it. No idea. I just don't have any. I wish I could tell you, but it, they just don't. They just don't really give a good explanation. Also about going over the which is a good time to bring up the next part of the game, the future games of this series. After this, the Dragon Warrior Monsters games just really don't exist. There are a few, including Dragon Warrior Monsters, well, Dragon Quest Monsters now. They changed the name to Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, and Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2. In my opinion, those games are less than average at best. I've seen people get like a 7 out of 10. I gave it maybe a 4, especially Dragon Quest Monsters 2. Compared to this game, I found that game to be really, really lacking in what made the game good, which was a ton of customization in monsters and teams, and that you could really do anything you needed to. And that was a bit of a disappointment, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be covering that series, despite the fact that I really do like the series, and I was doing Dragon Monsters 2, Dragon Warrior 9, sorry. All of them, couldn't do it. Doesn't matter. So anyways, what you want to do is you want to come up here and talk to the sign, and you'll find out that you need to go in and make the queen laugh. And that everyone else will receive a prize if you do so. Make her smile. And so you want to come up in here is Kamea will actually come in and push people through. And what you're going to see here is really funny. You're going to see Prince Kamea trying to dance. And he is terrible at it, apparently. Because the king actually yells at him to get out. Meanwhile, you're going to put on your original circus act. So they bring this back, and it's really, really nice. It's really well done. I always liked it. Oh, God. I'm going to turn off my phone. So basically what he tells you now is that you went out to the woods and no one has any idea what to do because she went out there and she came back one day, but nothing has changed. And if you come up in here, you can come in here early and you can just look at her room. Just remember this for next time. It's easy to come through here. But anyways, where I was going, yeah, I was playing Dragon Warrior Monsters, I think it's 9 Centennials of the Starry Skies for the DS, and the game overall is just kind of boring. I didn't find it really too fun, and it was kind of disappointing in that regard. I thought it was going to be a lot more fun for an RPG. There's tons and just tons of errors, especially in dialogue, and just like the regular combat. I was going over things, that kind of I'm a little nitpicky about. So, yes, this game isn't great, for obvious reasons. It's the Game Boy Color. It's, a lot of people consider this game to be a Pokemon knockoff, but I don't know. I always liked this game. I love the Pokemon series too, so can't really say anything. But in the Dragon Warrior series, there was just a ton of errors. Like, things that, yes, not 10 years ago, that would be okay, but it's not okay now. And things like, Monsters is defeated. Really, Centennials of the Starry Skies? Really? Just a ton of errors in that sense. And yes, they're just translation errors, but, yeah, that happens. So anyways, what you want to do is you want to come into these woods, and you want to follow this ghost. Yep. And she's going to hide among your items, so that means you need a free inventory space. If you don't have a free inventory space, that means you can't pick her up. So just remember that. And then inside this area here, you're just going to run into a couple new monsters, nothing really too damaging. The Demonites, Man-Eaters, they're plants. If you want them, pick them up. I like how they look. Um, and I happened to get hit with what that monster was using earlier, and I ended up getting completely put to sleep. Oh, and Man-Eater gets up. Hey, perfect. We'll take him. No, we're not gonna take him with us. No. And so this is really nice, actually. In this sense here, I also have a heal all skill. The heal more turned into heal all, and basically, at any point, if my monster's still alive, I can heal him back to full health, which is really, really important, and it's really nice to have in this section of the run. I'm just gonna come around here. I think there's a treasure chest around here. I never usually explore this area fully because of usually this at this point. There's just a lot of monsters and not too much to do. And I should really have Hyde go on a spell charge, not a no skill setting, but he's not, really cooperating, but that's okay. See, we'll save the MP for the next boss. Metal Cut. Metal Cut's very useful if you enjoy having killing metal slimes. You're not really gonna run into too many of those. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Metal enemies are very, very limited in this game, especially in that regard. I think there's only one that you absolutely have to fight, and then after that, Metal Cut is just kind of pointless, because in this game, unlike the other Dragon Warrior game series, the metal enemies, yes, the metal slimes have tons of defense, and yes, they have, a little bit of health. But in this game here, something interesting happens, is where it's still just based on attack and defense. So unlike Centennials of the Starry Skies and the other games, where if you don't have enough, if you don't use that certain skill or you don't use that certain weapon, monsters tend to be, the metal monsters tend to be okay. Same thing with Dragon Warrior Monsters Joker, Dragon Quest, whatever it is. It's that same kind of idea where you actually have to be using like a metal weapon and use the metal slash, and then you'll maybe do like 2 damage as 4 health and can run away. Yes, in this game they can run away too, but it's better in this game because they also account for your attack. So if you have a ton of attack and, Metallies and whatever have low defense, so whatever. I'll go over that when we get to it. So here we go. We have Stop Don't Meddle. And so you find her soul, and you have to defeat the second kind of boss of this area, and that's a puppeter. And this guy right here is really easy. You just have to really watch out for his some of his skills. I wouldn't say they're too devastating, but they do exist. As you can see that my ice attacks aren't doing that much damage. So I'm going to switch off here to Firebane instead. And I'm going to go with, let's see here. I'm going to go with a Blaze More. That didn't do well either. Well, what the Puppeter is he's a material monster. So ice doesn't really do too much damage. Just in general. It's just how it is. And Firebane has to go up to the next level before I do anything. But I'm gonna still cast defense here on him to drop his defense just in case I run out of MP. Though it is doubtful. And this is a really good lock, the Lush Licks. Lush Licks actually stops working on bosses after a while. This is pretty much the last point in which it can work. And before this area is finished, Lush Licks pretty much becomes not very useful. What this mini-boss here is okay, and this is the first instance of getting skills from the skills it knows. So, because I have Ice Slash and Evil Slash and a couple fire attacks, it allows me to relearn Fire Slash again, despite the fact I had deleted it. And it's not really too useful. I don't use it. Fire is completely useless on dragon enemies. It does no damage, and it's not really worth it. The slashes, eventually, you'll also get rid of. They're just kind of there. And so Yuna tells you that you need to go to the east to go protect Queen Helen. And I don't want these videos to be too short because this is a rather long game with a lot of grinding. So I'm just going to go over there. I just made sure that I raised myself enough in levels so I could handle these, these mini bosses, and I can do all this at once, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But she tells you that Queen Helen is the next target over here in the east. Now, if you're hearing this tune and it sounds really, really familiar, it's because they use this tune pretty much in the rest of the game series. From this point, in all the main Dragon Warrior series and the Dragon Quest series, they use this Ice World theme, and it's an amazing theme. It's one of their best composed pieces. I'll let you guys have a quick listen. Okay, so as you can tell, that does sound familiar, I'm sure. And they use it in pretty much every Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest game ever since this game. I mean, there's a good reason for it, you know? It's a good theme. Why wouldn't you use it again? But, it's used constantly, which is really interesting. It's not something you're used to hearing a lot in video games, especially in franchises like Final Fantasy and a lot of RPGs. Final Fantasy especially, they always have like all their themes. They're always new. They're always different. So you come in and you talk to the guard again, just like you did in the first kingdom, and you go and you talk to some people. So basically, what happens is you go in, you talk to everybody. You don't really have to talk to everybody. You just have to really talk to this lady right here, and she tells you that Queen Helen is suffering from nightmares, and that she needs to be cured. And they all tell a scholar that's gone to Norfor. Now you can cut this technically all out. You don't have to do any of it. And this guy here, if you can't figure out how to get into Lady Yuna's room, this guy right here tells you how to do it, because she used to take care of her, and how there's a vine you can just kind of climb in. This guy here tells you that if you go to Norfor and you go collect a flower, you can go save Queen Helen. And Norfor's up here. We passed it on the way down. Actually, it might be faster just to surf over there. But essentially what happens is that she's put to sleep. I'm just going to show you where Norfor is if you want to, go and do what everyone tells you to do. Because, yeah, you do miss a little bit of the story if you don't do that. This is completely skip optional here. I believe this is Norfor right here. No, I'm in Weston. Okay, well, maybe there might be a tiny medal here. Probably. Yep, right there. There we go. I'm like, I know this village is important for something, and it's that tiny medal, pretty much. Okay, well then Norfor is going to be in another village. Yeah, you can kind of go, and you have to go back through the mine, don't get me wrong. It's kind of annoying in that sense, where you have to go through the mine, and pretty much you have to go back over to another location. But in hindsight, this is what you did when you were little. These are kind of just part of the steps that you would have to do if you didn't know the game or you didn't have the walkthrough online. Personally, obviously know what to do already because I played this game tons of times, but I really don't remember the dialogue or what to do because I only did it once when I was little, and then after that I just kind of knew what to do. And obviously, I'm going to skip going back to the castle and doing all that other stuff because we're gonna have to go back there eventually. Um, and that'll probably be just in the next video. But I'm just gonna show you how to get to Norfolk right here. If you don't know what to do, if you do know what to do, good for you. You can skip all this, and you probably aren't even watching this walkthrough anyways. So you want to come down here into this cave, and I know what you're thinking, like, oh, this was a cave, like, why did we ignore it earlier? This is why you don't need to come here until now. You come here, this island, this town is completely logged off from the rest of the world. This is the only way into Norfolk. And essentially, you have to go find a scholar. Now, everyone's telling you that their port has been completely closed off, and so they can't really do anything about it. There's a couple shops here, and you want to come into this tavern/inn. You can talk to a bunch of people. And this girl right here tells you everything you need to know. You just need to go in, talk to her. She tells you that the sleep herb grows on the mountain next to the Queen Helen's kingdom, and that's pretty much it. And you come in here, and this guy here has very, very, very useful books. This is really, really important later on in the game, but you're not going to need it now. It's kind of like the vitamins. It's the only place in the game where you can buy them. So make sure if you don't know this area too well that you pick it up. Same thing, these items here are not available to you until you kind of pretty much beat the game. Beast Tail especially, this is a very interesting item. You're not going to be able to get it. Shiny Harp, you're not going to get to the end of the game. Same thing with this Gold Pass. It's just something to note. These shops are very important, but they're important for later in the game, not really important now. And I'll go over those when they need to be done. Alright, but for right now, next time I'm gonna head back to the mount, I'm gonna head back to the original castle with Queen Helen, I'm gonna cut out all that traveling, and then I'm gonna meet you guys back there, and then we're gonna go to the mountain and collect that sleep herb. We're also gonna pick up something else that's also very, very important, and I'll go over that when we get there. Alright? So until next time,